this is Todd. I am just a regular dude walking in the Word. Today I wanted to talk to you about marriage, okay? I believe you need to take drastic measures to protect your marriage, okay? Jesus talks about it in Matthew 5, what we're reading with the Sermon on the Mount, and then I'm going to read also today from Genesis, where it talks about that. So turn in your Bibles with me, if you have them, to Matthew chapter 5, verses 27 all the way down to 32. It says this: "You have heard that it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully also has committed adultery with her in his heart." All right, let me stop there. You might be trying to play around with fornication, with adultery. Don't do it, okay? And Jesus clearly warns anyone that even looks at a woman lustfully is already committing adultery, okay? So don't even play around with it, entertain it, because you're already in sin, okay? Verse 29, "If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose the part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell." Jesus is talking about taking drastic action here. Obviously, he's not being literal about cutting your arms and everything off. But he is talking about, taking some drastic action. If you have a problem with porn on your computer, get rid of the computer. That's drastic action, okay? I can go into all kinds of things. But you know what to do, okay? If there's a problem with something, with adultery, get rid of it, okay? And don't play around with it and think, oh, yeah, I can take care of it. Verse 31, "It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you, anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality makes her the victim of adultery. And anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery." I want to go back up toward the top there, where we were talking about you need to take drastic measures to protect yourself against adultery, and then also to protect yourself in your marriage, so that you don't have what we talk about there at the end, divorce. Okay, so you have to be drastic about this. The thing is, the world doesn't do drastic things to protect your marriage. They're just floating along, but you're going to look like a real oddball when you're doing things to protect your marriage. Okay, so that takes me back all the way to Genesis. In Genesis, starting in chapter 39, starting at verse 6. This is the story of Joseph. Joseph was in his in the slave owner's house, okay, Potiphar, and you're going to see in the story what happens here. Now Joseph was well built and handsome, and after a while his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." But he refused. "With me in charge," he told her, "my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns, he has entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" Joseph was concerned with his relationship with God and was not willing to commit adultery, to defile that. Verse 10, "And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her." Okay, so he was separating himself out, so that wouldn't be a temptation, and he was trying to get away from the situation. So he wouldn't even be alone with her. One day, he went into the house to attend to his duties, and none of the household servants were inside. She caught him by the cloak and said, "Come to bed with me." But he left his cloak in her hand and ran out of the house. That's drastic measures. He ran away to even though it ran, leaving his coat behind. Okay, he was taking drastic measures to not commit adultery. First of all, he would separate himself he refused to be with her Okay. Then he ran away, leaving his coat behind. Okay. Drastic measures. I encourage you to look at your marriage. You look at, even if you're not married, to protect yourself from fornication. Sex outside of marriage is sin, naturally. So, but you need to do things to protect yourself from sex outside of marriage. And that needs to be some drastic measures. And like I said, the world is going to look at you real funny when you take those measures and you say, I'm not going to have sex outside of marriage. And they're like, oh, well, why are you doing that? You know, and so anyway, I won't go into all the details. You know what to do. Thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I'll see you tomorrow as we continue talking about the Sermon on the Mount. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.